network, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyd Farm Outfitters. Farmers, you need to know about Green Eye Spot Spray. With Green Eye, we replace your existing spray boom with a brand new aluminum boom equipped with camera technology that identifies and sprays only weeds and not your crop. The boom comes with 2 spray lines so you can still broadcast residual herbicide while you're spot spraying weeds that are up. Green Eye users in Nebraska are saving a ton of money on herbicides, but that's just the beginning. Learn more at BoydFarmOutfitters.com. That's BOECK FarmOutfitters.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up, Jay Foreman, inside the huddle on a bye week. So Nebraska's 1-0 on the bye week. A lot going on in college football and obviously college basketball with Nebraska representing last night. But we are brought to you by AMI Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Will take care of all your imaging needs. And I can tell you from personal experience, they will help you to get on hopefully a clear path to some pain relief or whatever you got going on. So appreciate their support. Appreciate your support early on a Sunday morning, like always. To everybody, sometimes after when Nebraska plays or doesn't play, you could kind of go by the wayside. But more importantly, you have to take a really good look at college football and the landscape of it, because it does indirectly affect Nebraska. Because if Nebraska, everything's an if right now, and I would say if we're the fifth, we'd all be drunk. But when you look at it, it could affect, or you could really get a lead into who Nebraska could potentially play in a bowl game, right? So you could take a weekend and look at some of those guys and see what they could do. You could see, you saw Missouri, play yesterday, and they were able to win pretty convincingly. And I'm just going off what the rumors were. And you had some rumors that Nebraska could potentially play Oklahoma. They were very impressive in beating Alabama for second year in a row. But then also you got to look at the Big Ten as well. And I think that's a good place to start, Harrison. When you look at the Big Ten, the way that they were, how it all shook out. Now, Ohio State just kept doing what they're doing. They seem like they're getting better just on the sneak. And that's the weirdest thing. They won a national championship, and this team might be better than the team last year.
Yeah, it's on the same kind of track it was last year, too. Yeah, they're just getting better as the season's going along here. Right. We'll see if that Michigan game.
Yeah, Michigan will have to bring up the obviously, the rivalry, situation. I think Michigan's team was a little bit better last year than this year. Obviously, when you have 2 first-round picks up the middle, or at least one, and Mason Graham and Grant the next, it really clogs up what Ohio State is doing. Plus, I also think that, Chip Kelly really didn't. I wasn't very. This isn't a personal shot at Chip Kelly. I wasn't very impressed with the way he called, or he was doing his job as a coordinator up until the playoffs. It's almost like Ryan Day was like, you need to be a lot more aggressive.
Well, even then, it took a little bit into the playoffs because the defense got him early, and then the offense
got him going, and the offense then allowed him to. But with all that talent, he really never really got the maximum of it. Now you're seeing.
Well, we're seeing it with the Raiders.
That's my point, right? You come in, and now we'll get back to the Big Ten, but this also gives you a little bit of a snapshot into who Chip Kelly is as a coach. You come in and you get Ashton Genty, and you want to change his stance as a runner. He's 5'8". Like, this is what you're worried about?
Well, and you just, this is the worst that the Raiders have looked in a while. That says something, because they certainly got an upgrade.
Their
offense
talent was better, and they had an upgrade in talent. And then once he went back to his regular stance, he's been actually pretty good.
Yeah, which again, it's one of the dumbest thing to harp on. For all the problems the Raiders team had.
As an offensive coordinator, this is what you're talking about. We're going to change your stance that we watched you for 3 years rip through the NCAA, but that's what we want to change about you.
Well, it's also just leave that to your running backs coach.
What
the hell is he on the staff for?
So you can only imagine what was going on last year at Ohio State. So they look good, but let's run down the Big Ten. Oregon, I wouldn't say it was a must win for them, but it was dang near close. I mean, obviously, I think they dominated Friday night against Minnesota. Minnesota, was trying to hang in there, but Oregon came out hot and being on the road. And there was a couple big calls that went Oregon's way, but I think Oregon was significantly better. They got a plethora of athletes on the field. Their offensive line is okay. Moore is a really, really good quarterback.
Yeah, he's 27 for 30.
Yeah, 300 yards. And Sadiq is a matchup problem. He's a tight end, but has wide receiver skills. He has the force and physicality of a fullback, and he has the feet of a slot receiver. So he's a matchup problem. And then you had, Indiana against Wisconsin, right? And Indiana, after kind of just skating by Penn State. Now, so we'll dive into some Penn State, because we'll see, on Black Shirt Breakdown and Whiteboard Wednesday, we'll look at a little Penn State against Indiana. But they were able to quietly dominate Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin defensively is playing better, even though they lost by 24 points. But I think it was 10-7 at halftime. Kirk Cincinnati made some adjustments, got after him a little bit, 14-0 and 7-0 in the fourth quarter, respectively, and ended up, really kind of just turning along 11-0, doing their thing, and obviously working towards a Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. So we'll see how that goes.
Is there anybody in the country that does that screen game better than Indiana right now? They go to that a lot, and no one can really stop it.
Yeah, well, why the screen game is really good. If you go back and this is back even when like Amon Green was with Green Bay or Kansas City Chiefs, when their offense was really humming. It is humming always, but when they were really going, when they had McKinnon and what's the other guys? Was it Hilaire? He had the hyphenated name. Those guys type of guys. Yeah. It's their offensive lineman. The screen game is set forth by athletic offensive linemen that can make strategic and smart decisions on who to block in space, and it's all also timing as well.
Willing receivers.
Yeah, willing to block, but it's the offensive line being able to get out on small guys and get in the way, allowing the running backs to do what they need to do. If you got linemen that can't run and can't adjust, you could have a great call. We don't, like if you look at Nebraska when we had that 3-week stretch of running that tunnel screen. We used to call it jailbreak screen to Hunter. You saw Evans out there making huge blocks, and it was the timing of it, right? Indiana's done a really good job of that, but really Indiana, what they do is they run the ball effectively. They got 4 running backs like we saw last year that can run it. And they're more physical up front. They're well coached on defense. And so that, they're onward and upward. And then I guess the game of the weekend, which didn't get a lot of hype, was USC against Iowa. You thought that maybe Iowa was going to be able to beat up USC, but it was a battle, or it was a difference of two halves. The first half, USC goes in 21-10 at halftime. Or no, Iowa does, excuse me. They're up 21-10 at halftime. You're like, oh, this is Kirk Ferentz at his finest, right? Because you know what they would do, sit on the ball control, lessen the possessions. But USC found a way to outscore Iowa 16-0 in the second half. 9 points, 7 points. And so, defensively they made some adjustments, obviously, but offensively, Jaden Maeva started getting it going a little bit. And I saw, that Lemon was that guy. We did a really good job against him. I would have expected Iowa would have been able to do that as well, but I think they moved him around a little bit and they kind of fed him, got him a lot of touches and targets, and the run after catch really paid off well with 10 catches at 153 yards and a touchdown. So that was the difference maker. And Lincoln Riley is in a good position potentially, if some things go right, to sneak in and be that third team.
Yeah. And Iowa, who was one of those favorites, is now looking at 4 losses.
Yeah. And so, amazing. A couple weeks ago, you would have thought Iowa would have been, here goes Kurt Ferentz. I keep signating, but Kirk Ferentz going in there, right? Now you got Lincoln Riley. I wouldn't say he was on the hot seat, a few weeks ago, but people were questioning him, right? After that Notre Dame game, where they would beat Nebraska, and obviously win another game after that. Northwestern game, which was kind of a sneaky, shaky, good win, and then double down and beat Iowa as well. And I think the thing that helped USC, Harrison, is that they played Northwestern the week before, a physical team, kind of run the same type of offense, very, physical and disciplined on defense. So you had a little bit of a,
sample size.
So it didn't catch you by surprise. And so USC, you got to get, tip their hat that they were able to beat a game Iowa team, even though it was, at home.
Yeah, it felt like I was ready to put my chips in that Iowa was going to take care of that. I mean, that is the blueprint for Iowa's success, having, what was it,
11-point lead.
Yeah, 11-point lead at halftime.
Yeah, let's play a little special teams and defense.
God, you just shout out to USC. Yeah. I was surprised their ability to you knew I was going to want to run the ball, but Oregon knew that same thing, and they're unable to get it done.
Right.
And I just haven't been impressed by USC, because that was, one of the few things we were able to throw at them was our run game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously Emmett did really well, and Northwestern ran the ball well.
I don't know what it is with the Iowa collapse at the end of these years. They always have, they get right for that last Black Friday game, but there's always a couple games in November. They're very similar to
fall asleep.
Yeah, very similar to Nebraska, unfortunately, in that way. Hopefully the tide's changing for us. But every time, as much as I'm biased against that program, I thought this was the year they'd break through.
Yeah, they're very consistent.
The offense felt like it was actually lethal this year. So we're even in a game where it fits in that favor.
Yeah,
them getting just shut out in that second half completely is what, I thought this year was different.
Yeah, you would. Well, coming into the year, you thought the quarterback was fine. Yeah, finally Iowa has a quarterback. That hasn't been it. There was one. It was the Minnesota game that's kind of really, just.
Well, it's the dual threat quarterback. It's the one thing that always made sense for Iowa, but they put a statue like Deacon Hill back there,
or anybody, and it never worked out, right? So Gronowski, record-setting quarterback at South Dakota State, and thought he was going to be the guy, and he really struggled from the get-go. I remember in the first press conference, he was like, "Man, this is a lot of pressure." Now he's getting paid a lot of money, so the pressure is there. Iowa doesn't have a lot in the wide receiver room in order to, make that come to fruition. So really where he hurt a lot of teams at times, and we've seen it, and we'll see it here in a couple of weeks, was the ability to escape the pocket and then kill you in the quarterback run game. Well, that actually plays into USC's hands. They got athletes that can run and hit you. So that's where, USC was able to, when you have Eric Gentry, who's 6'6", 215, 220, but he's long, he can really make up a lot of space against a quarterback like that. And that's where they were able to come back. So they weren't very dominating as far as Moulton, as far as running. He was 15 carries, 90 yards, obviously 6 yards a pop, but there wasn't the type of grinded out type of game with Iowa with the controlled passing game. And then also Iowa doesn't have that X factor at tight end like they usually have. You got to think they had I mean,
that would have flipped the game for him.
Right. You got to think you had George Kittle. Okay. T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Noah Fant on the same team. Laporta. Lachey last year. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. That's the ultimate.
Where did Goddard play? It wasn't. No,
he was at South Dakota State.
Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, that's 5 guys that are 5 of the top tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
Right. All at one university, destroying the middle of your defense. To the intermediate and deep pass game. They're just killing you in their matchup problems.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they were able to, like, if they had a guy like that right now, I'm pretty sure that they would be able to pull that out. But when you don't, and you got to really try to go to a more explosive vertical passing game out there on the edges, and you can't do it, it's the recipe for disaster. And so USC was able to pull it out. They're up there. They're 6-1 in the Big Ten. If there was any doubters with Lincoln Riley, and this puts a lot more pressure, I bet you, on the powers that be out there at USC, because his name was floated around probably by his agent to different jobs. Now, I think his buyout is extremely high, but I don't know what his I'll call it a transfer fee, meaning somebody else hires you. So you don't, that the buyout is null and void. But buyouts is when you get fired. USC's not going to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
Costs too much. Now, if somebody else hires him, I wonder what that would be. Like Matt Rule's is $15 million. I wonder what Lincoln Riley's is. There's schools probably like at LSU that might be really want him. They might go out there and pay if it's $15-20 million to do so.
Yeah, there's plenty of schools that are calling that number right now.
Right.
He's in there, I'd imagine, with Lane Kiffin right now.
Right. And so the more that he wins, the more job security he gets. And I mean, USC is a private school, so they can take care of him, outside of the media. But he's you got to tip your hat to him, man. I mean, I think it's been a work in progress. He's actively tried to get his team bigger and more physical, while trying to be more explosive offensively. And I think he's making the most out of, Jaden Maeva. I think Jaden Maeva is a decent quarterback, provides a little bit with his legs, but not the type of level that he's been used to coaching.
Yeah, and you got that run game going.
Yeah.
With King as well.
Yeah.
That's the one thing for USC where it's like, all right, you're going to play some of these Big Ten teams. And like Iowa is one of the best litmus tests. Like, can you handle just
can you run the ball against Iowa? Can you run and they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they done it with their third team running back. So that lets you know the recruiting and the depth and the development is there as well. So what he was been saying that we're going to have, USC, they'd always have a plethora of running backs. He's doing it again.
That's true. He's playing so good that I have to remind myself that's their third string.
And he was a walk-on.
Yeah.
Now, being asked to walk on, I'm sure he's on scholarship now. Obviously, and if he's not on scholarship, he's going to go somewhere else and start. So USC needs to take care of him. The next game that we'll talk about here real quick is Michigan at Northwestern. It was at Wrigley Field. Northwestern had the game, had them, turned it up, and then Michigan found a way. Bryce Underwood had 2 picks, but he threw for 280 yards, got it going. Right when they looked dead in the water, and they were able to hit that field goal right at the end. That's the only 3 points they had in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Northwestern withstood the Michigan barrage of 14 points to 3 in the third quarter, flip it 13-3 in the fourth, and end up losing by 2. They're 5-5. They could have been bowl eligible. David Braun, I like him. I like what he's done. Now sneaking, on the sneak, another team. And USC beat Michigan, so they have the tiebreaker, right? So, but Michigan still, they're 8-2 right now, 6-1 in the Big Ten. Obviously, their only loss was to who? USC. So a team like Michigan with a freshman quarterback, who the freshman quarterback looked like a freshman, even though he's a 5-star, and obviously, number 1 recruit in a big flip from LSU, and Sharon Moore. And who knows when what his contract is or what he's going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 8-2. Ann Arbor he's waking up today feeling pretty good about himself. 8-2.
Difference is though, like Underwood I'm still just iffy on him, and we'll see in that Ohio State game. Because like we were talking about Ohio State, like Julian Sayin is like, as the season's gone on,
he's gotten better.
He's looked a lot better, and I think Ryan Day was smart by giving him a little bit of the kids menu early on, and as the season's gone on, he's got the whole playbook in front of him, and he's responding well. Where Underwood, it's still just really inconsistent at times.
Yeah, and
because even with us, like he was good, but it felt like at times he was throwing us a bone too.
He wasn't good throwing the ball against
just
us.
running.
He hit it on that one quarterback draw and a couple other times.
I do think his receivers didn't help him. That's why I say I think he was good because he did have some deep balls where I thought if he had better receivers, they would have converted.
Yeah, and they had a couple easy drops. Yeah, and they've had the drops all year.
So it's a little bit not all
up and
down. The wide receiver room could use some
but
help.
You got to give him credit. You know, he has 2 interceptions, but he was able to get it together and lead him on a game-winning field goal drive. So you got to tip your hat to him. And I mean, I think this year, anytime you're a freshman playing, we've seen it last year with Dylan. It's a learning experience, and you're going to have really good games and games that you want to, get back. And so you just got to keep moving forward. But you got to give them credit. They're 8-2, 6-1 in the Big Ten. The next game here was, we'll talk here for the rest of the segment here, because I think this game, we played Michigan State, and obviously we're about to play Penn State. Penn State was able to win 28-10. Their quarterback is okay, but Allen, the running back, is a problem in the conventional run game. So they're going to line up and try to punch you in the face. But I think more importantly, their defense was able to really, really suffocate Michigan State. And so when you think about going to play Penn State, no matter what, and they got to hire a new coach, right? And so when you look at it, they're trying to, for those seniors, they have a lot of pride, right? And so they're trying to, and when a new coach comes in and say, I don't know when he's hired, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and if they're able, they're going to be playing to try to become bowl eligible. So every game from here on out is a must win. They play Nebraska, obviously, and then at Rutgers. So they're trying to end up 6-6. So this is a must win for them. You're going to get everything from Penn State. And also, when a new coach is hired, what he wants, or I'm sure what they like, is like to be able to come in and watch practice, evaluate his players, and so to evaluate his roster before he jumps out in the portal and gives them a little bit of 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get it together, recruits and all that stuff while the team's practicing, right? And infusing yourself with this team, right? As football is going on, football activity is going on. So it was a big win for them. Katron Allen is the real deal. I think Singleton too is a really good runner. We got 2 NFL running backs, a pretty good offensive line. Nick Singleton. But Katron Allen has been outstanding this year and has 917 yards and 5.6 yards a carry. Singleton's kind of been the bruiser, 419 yards, 4 yards a carry, but he has 9 TDs. Whereas Allen has 12, and both of them can house call you. You have one. Allen has a long of 67 yards, and Singleton has one of 59 yards. So, Grunkmeyer is going to have to play keep away against us, and then Nebraska's going to have to really load the blocks. I just think if you kind of make them one-handed, your chances of winning goes up.
Yeah, I mean they only threw the ball 13 times. Yeah, yesterday. I mean, that's the game plan they're going to want to play going forward,
right?
Which makes sense. So you got those running backs that are doing that type of damage. Yeah. If you can get him on some 3rd and longs, because even when they were playing, 4th down quite a bit as well.
Yeah,
to have those opportunities. So, yeah, I think that's one where once again the run defense of Nebraska is going to be the thing to circle because they're going to want to attack.
And the best defense for Nebraska is Nebraska's offense to stay on at and ahead of the chains, and like kind of UCLA, because what that will do is put more pressure on Grunkmeyer and the offensive coordinator to be a little bit more out of pocket or out of box, come out of their box, and try to be more aggressive in the pass game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so Michigan State wasn't able to keep Penn State's defense on the field long enough, and so it allowed them to essentially, just go inside run drill for the second half of the game. And so Nebraska knows what they got, and I think that's a good game to watch, that Michigan State game. Indiana as well, just because you're going to get their best shot and you're going to see how they're going to play at home. That Michigan State game was on the road, so that's even a bigger victory there, going on the road and playing like that. So they're 4-6. They're going to try to become bowl eligible, and this is a kind of like when Coach Rule's first year, 5-3. I know we just got the win and had to forfeit it or whatever. But when you're up there and it was a senior day and Nebraska was 5-3, And, Michigan State was throwing for touchdowns. What I mean that they were not throwing to get the first down. They were trying to get explosive plays. So you got to be prepared for everything and anything against Penn State next week.
Yeah. I mean, it's different era of college football too. I think there's a lot more in it for these guys other than just going bowling at the end. Like maybe not everyone gets it, but if you want that NIL money or if you want a good situation or if you want your spot, I mean, just even starting spot, there's
right. I mean, because everybody with the rev sharing, I don't know how Penn State will break it down, but the guys, this new coach is probably going to come in and bring his whole new deal, right? Whole thing. And they're going to evaluate the roster. And so you're how you practice, how you prepare. They're going to go back and watch the tape and see how you play, but more importantly in the games. So to really secure your spot on the team, which then secures your spot financially is huge for these guys. And then also you go to a bowl game or potentially if they're able to go 6-6. So Nebraska's got a big task ahead of them, let alone with 105,000 people out there going crazy. So we'll take a quick break, come back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th when every red tagged machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People's City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Husker fans know when you work together, great things happen. At Cornhusker Bank, they're more than your financial partner. With 5 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Omaha, they're your neighbors, your teammates, and your biggest fans. Whether you're saving for your first home, planning your future, or growing your business, they're right here in Nebraska to help you move forward together. Visit cornhusker.bank to learn more. Cornhusker Bank, member FDIC. Doing life together.
Deciding on a college with your high school senior can be a little overwhelming for parents. But applying for money to pay for it is simple. FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is now easier than ever with fewer questions and faster fill-out times. If you have a high school senior, now is the time to apply for thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing. Get started, Nebraska, at dothefafsa.org. Sponsored by Education Quest Foundation. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Once again, takes care of all your imaging needs. Wrapping up the Big Ten. Penn State obviously representing yesterday, so obviously Nebraska's going to, in for a dogfight, and that's what you want, no matter what the preseason prognosticators thought of the schedule and very gettable X, Y, and Z. This is the same talented Penn State team that was, preseason number 1. So even though they, let the coach go and all that, you got to make sure that you step into the arena. And be ready to go. So we'll see, what happens. And real quick, Illinois easily took care of Maryland. I think Maryland with the whole, whether Mike Loxley's coming back, they don't have any money, Under Armour going, not under, but obviously underfunded their NIL.
Well, and Curry's out.
Curry's out. But I just think this has been in the works. They don't have enough money he's a really good recruiter. He's got Malik Washington, those 2 defensive ends. He has a really big time recruit coming in next year and a few others. You can't keep them if you can't support the coach in this NIL era. And so they don't have any money, so they got to make a decision on the coach. And I think this 24-6 beatdown from Illinois is a byproduct of that, because you got to think now they have 2 more games and they could potentially become bowl eligible, but depending on who they play, it might be a tall task, but Illinois is not 18 points better than Maryland from what I saw.
No. I think Maryland is like a pretty solid team.
Right. I mean, they lost 4 games by 1 score. They had the lead in, I think, all 4 of them. And but they're a very young team. But the way they've been playing, the way they played against Nebraska, the way they played against other teams is not probably what they did yesterday on the road at Illinois. And so, they got a tall task here, coming up. And the last is Washington got back right after stubbing their toe last week and beat up on my man Barry Odom's Purdue Boilermakers pretty bad too. Purdue came all the way out there on the road, got dispatched real quick, and then Barry Odom was not a very happy camper after that. He just felt like they weren't very competitive, rightfully so. And real quick, back to Maryland, they played Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan State is very winnable. Michigan probably wants to win that to keep any outside chance of them getting into the college football playoffs alive. So Maryland's going to have to get back right and do it very quickly. So anyways.
Crazy that Penn State got their first Big Ten win.
This
like that was their one, and they did it.
Right.
1-6, baby.
I just can't believe.
That's a good team, too.
Even with the heck, you got to think, you have Jim Knowles making $3 million a year, and then you got interim coaching, and you still have the same talent. But they went on the road to Iowa. They weren't playing like the situation wasn't ideal to get on a run. It wasn't like UCLA.
Well, the UCLA game was the one that I think
that deflated.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't. The UCLA
got the coach fired, and then
the Northwestern got the coach fired because the next week you came back home because you were pouting about the UCLA loss, right?
I forgot that was a rough couple weeks.
And the Northwestern game beat you up, and it was at home too. And so, anyways, top 25 action. I think the two biggest games. Georgia is for real. Texas, not so much.
I didn't think Texas when they snuck in there. I think it was like number 12 in the college football playoffs. I was like, yeah, that's the logo working.
Yeah. It was hope that they would start getting going, and they had played a little bit better. I will say this: Arch Manning gets a lot of flack for being related to the Mannings, and I know what that's like, and he probably hasn't played up to what the billing has been. But last night, dang, those Texas receivers. Bro,
not doing a lot of help.
How are you at Texas getting all that money and can't catch? And then you got to give it to Kirby Smart, man. It's 14-10 going into the fourth quarter, and you turn it up. They turned up the physicality, and he made he went for it on fourth down and had that sneaky good play. And it shows why he's a championship coach. And they're potentially going to be top 4 seeded, in the college football playoffs.
I think rightfully so. If they win next week again.
And they beat Texas, so it's all good. The next big game was Oklahoma at Alabama. Alabama's been the hottest team in the nation, and still are, after that Florida State, first game let down. And Oklahoma, for the second year in a row, went in there and beat them. Or not went in there, but beat them 2 years in a row. Really good game. Really, really good game. Mateer for Oklahoma is a problem. Simpson was everything that been the billing, and Oklahoma just had a little bit more in the tank, a little bit more defense, and they were able to get that field goal at the end. The one thing about Alabama that's unique, I mean, obviously they're doing really good throwing the ball. This is the first time in a long time, even in the years that weren't the most talented Nick Saban team, that Alabama really doesn't have a running game. They really don't have a running game.
Haven't really had to lean on it yet, which is
but they
crazy.
don't have one though. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Now I think DeBoer, obviously his offense is a little bit different. Obviously, Steve Simpson probably one of the front runners at times for the Heisman, and obviously a high NFL draft choice. That's a byproduct of it, so you're not really leaning on it. But this is when you think of Alabama in recent history. What do you think? Derrick Henry, Mark Henry, Lacey, all them dudes. Plethora of dudes, and so. I'm sure the running backs are more than capable, but they got to be more than one-dimensional. So Oklahoma Sooners came through, kept everything that they wanted before the season alive, and they sent some shockwaves through the SEC as well because everybody just thought that Alabama was going to hold serve. The other exciting game, we'll always skip over Notre Dame, is the Texas A&M South Carolina game. Down, what was it, 17 or 27 points? 17 points, right?
I think it was 17.
Yeah, down 17 points. Did you see the video of Beamer going at halftime? No. They were down 27 points, 30-3 at halftime. They were down 30-3 at halftime, and got outscored 28-0 in the second half and lost by 1 point. I didn't see the game at the beginning. I was getting text messages about it, and then I watched the second half, or when they started to go on a run, and I was like, dang, that's a momentum swing. It's almost like, we'll get into it. After this, right? It's like how Nebraska was down 16, 17 points to Oklahoma, and they started coming back. Once that momentum goes, and you just let the momentum flow, and you don't look at the clock, that's how you're able to come back and really get it. So big shout out to Texas A&M.
Took inspiration from that state trooper. You're like, you're right. This is our house.
Yeah,
get these guys out of here.
But he got fired.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
rightfully so. What are you doing, man?
Are you doing?
I don't know. He was in his feelings or something, or an ego trip. I don't know if he was a fan or if he just.
Why would you even do that?
No idea. Most bizarre thing I've seen in a while.
It was the dumbest thing you could do.
Like an intentional shoulder check. He turned around. I don't know what he said.
That's why.
Even the player was like, turn around. And he's like,
what happened?
You talking to me? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and then he said something to him too. Yeah. But I wonder about all state troopers. Do they always wear those extra medium shirts and they got the things like you got to be? They're almost like referees now in the NFL. Like Ed Hockley, you got gun show going.
In A&M, yeah.
He was jacked up though.
Yeah, I mean,
he was jacked up, but but he's gonna not be able to participate in any more
jacked
game
up at home is what he's gonna be.
Because that's probably some extra pay for him.
I just made me laugh. It just they announced me like, yeah, we kicked him out of the stadium, but I mean, if that guy's got like work's gonna suck being around town, everyone's gonna be.
I mean, just
it's a tough one to live through
for
a while.
Just imagine going 4 miles per hour over the speed limit. He pulls you over. Anyways, that's college football wrap up top 25. But we don't want to go past and not the volleyball lost their first set on Friday against UCLA. And then they turned it up. Now they turned it up big time. Right.
I will say it's crazy that, and no disrespect to UCLA because Nebraska volleyball is a very good team.
Yeah.
But teams get a set versus Nebraska, and it's posted everywhere, and like rightfully so.
It's almost like a loss, and then you saw like Harper Murray and them. They were giving you it got a little spicy. It was letting you know that all right now.
You think?
Yeah.
And they played bad, and they'll tell you that. That was
That's
like
fine.
one of the worst games I think Husker volleyball played, and
but
again, it just kind of tells you where they're at.
They can work it out of it, and I'm sure they play USC today. I think at 2, right?
USC.
So I can almost guarantee USC is going to get the best version of Nebraska here in a few hours. So big shout out to them to continue to dominate. And then also last night, Nebraska took on Oklahoma Sooners in basketball up there.
Sold out crowd.
Sioux Falls, and it was what is that? 5,000 or 3,500.
I think it's 3,500. I don't know.
3,500 people, all Nebraska fans. Oklahoma fans might have just been like friends and family. It was 3,000 plus Nebraska fans there last night. And Nebraska
3,200.
Started off a little slow, to say the least, and then they were able to get it back going. And I think, Harrison, we talk basketball all the time outside of obviously being on the radio. I think that's the best version of this team. Hopefully that you don't see all year, but I think that's what when they went and recruited shooters, and you have Rink Mass doing his thing. You saw it right there. That's the best thing. That's the best version you're going to get because it's a matchup problem. And I think the best thing that you hear coming out from the opposing coach was the pace that they were able to play at wore them out. And you can do that when you have shooters, but you can do that when you practice and you prepare that way. Early in the season, teams aren't ready for that type of pace. You want a big shout out to, Fred Hoiberg and the fellas of, battling back and then was just dominant. And it was kind of like Texas A&M down. And then once you started getting going in that rhythm, and this is where you think of Fred Hoiberg back to when he was at Iowa State. And they obviously had great talent, but the basketball mind to be able to create different sets. And I think with this team is different matchup problems as far as the spacing goes, and the having the shooters that he has this year really, really helps. But then also I think they're a little bit more physical than what people give them credit for.
Yeah, I mean, they got to play physical. I think they understand that we're not built the same way that Alabama or LSU is going to be built.
Or Michigan State. Or
yeah, like we're not that same kind of athletic build. So we got to make up for it in some hustle plays. And the other part is 20 assists again.
Yeah.
They're just playing simple basketball. And I think you heard that out of the opposing coach as well at the end there. He's talking about the pick and pop, but he's also just talking about having an inside game. Like I always use Jokic as like an example. Like basketball's really easy if you let it be. And if you let it be easy, like you don't have to have any of that athleticism as, Jokic is proven year in, year out.
Yeah.
And that's all Nebraska. And that's what the 20 assists is. It's like, just make the right pass. And why teams don't do it, but you got a mismatch inside. Just dump it down.
Yeah.
Rank mass, go to work.
Yeah.
Get the easy
or get to the foul line.
Yeah, get to the foul line. And it's just really easy basketball. And when the threes are going in, it looks crazy, but it's just good passes, good ball movement, and then having a good pick and pop and high-low game.
Yeah, playing through a post or having remember when Griesel was here, being able to get it into the post with a big guard.
That was when you got Mr. Sanford.
Yes, but being able to play through the post, and we saw it with Derek Walker. Now you're seeing it with Rink Mass, and you can do it different ways, right? Because Derek Walker he was a face up like 4 or 5, but then he could get you in the post, and he was savvy, and then he could run the pick and pop, and then he would get you at the back door and a great passer, Rick Mass as well. And then Rick Mass can hit you with the three. But there was one they ran a couple. They started Rick Mass at the top of the key, ran a pick and pop back to it, essentially right to like a little handoff. Then he went down with the pin down, and then he got him in a switch against Forsyth, and then they threw it in there. It took him a little while because he was open, but they were very, very patient, and Rick Mass did a really good job of sealing him off. But even when the help came from, I think it was Rogers, or something like that, that Rick Mass was able to get to the free throw line. When you can do those type of things, you can stop opposing teams' runs, but then also you can extend your run, because you can't just, even though they shot 56% from three, you can't say, okay, we're going to keep hitting threes. So when we're not hitting threes or we're not getting the looks that we like, we can be patient getting inside when we have a matchup problem or a matchup advantage. And then you saw it, when you have Rick Mass and you have Sanford, that's what he came here for, and that's what you want. You got the best game out of Burke, 16 points, 5 of 7 from the field, hit 5 of 6 from free throw line, 4 rebounds, and they had defensive rebounds as well. So you're keeping the opposing team off the offensive boards. And Jamarcus Lawrence, I don't think he scored in the first half, but then he hit those 2 back-to-back threes, and then he started to get going. And obviously Sam Horberg, I think, which is really good. Really, really smart. 3 shots, made one out of 3 shots, but then what you need to close the game, free throw. And he does that. And he's also going to be a heady player and make the plays. And then obviously Cale Jacobson did the same thing, coming off the bench and doing his thing. So it was I think Nebraska, that was the best. You've seen them play, and offensively, the flow, and that's when Fred Hoiberg and his offense, and you get guys that are invested in it, right, and understand the ball will come back to you. You'll get a lot easier shots. Will Nebraska always shoot 56% from three? Probably not, but they'll shoot a pretty good percentage from three all year with the amount of shooters they have and the spacing. So
we still haven't had a good Connor Sejan game yet. Well, I shouldn't say good game, but that game where he goes nuclear.
We had one against the silly season. We need him now against these type of opponents. We need him now what they play in Kansas City this weekend.
I think so, yeah. I'll have to double check. But.
So we need you to show up this weekend. So anyways, we'll take a quick break, put a bow on this bad boy. Jay Foreman inside the huddle. We'll be right back.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th, when every red tag machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seating Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Husker fans know when you work together, great things happen. At Cornhusker Bank, they're more than your financial partner. With 5 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Omaha, they're your neighbors, your teammates, and your biggest fans. Whether you're saving for your first home, planning your future, or growing your business, they're right here in Nebraska to help you move forward together. Visit cornhusker.bank to learn more. Cornhusker Bank, member FDIC. Doing life together.
Deciding on a college with your high school senior can be a little overwhelming for parents. But applying for money to pay for it is simple. FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is now easier than ever with fewer questions and faster fill-out times. If you have a high school senior, now is the time to apply for thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing. Get started, Nebraska, at dothefafsa.org. Sponsored by Education Quest Foundation. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up? We're back Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. Jay Foreman. A quick segment here before we get off the airways here. Big NFL weekend, Harrison. You got a game going on right now. Washington Commanders are playing the Miami Dolphins over there in Spain. That's not a bad trip to go over there.
Yeah, I think it's better than, no offense to some of the
Ireland.
other countries out there. But
yeah, you go to Spain at about this time of year.
Spain or Germany?
I'll take Spain.
Spain or Ireland?
Spain.
Yeah. Spain or Brazil. Brazil might be nice.
Yeah. I'll take those two.
Uh-huh.
And they get a bye week, so, you could probably chill afterwards. You could bring the family over there and so forth and so on. So, Tampa Bay Bucks. Both 6-3 go to my Buffalo Bills. Tampa Bay lost last week. Buffalo has not looked good. Obviously losing to the Dolphins, but Buffalo's favored. Buffalo's got to get it together. Offensively, they got to find a way to threaten people on the outside. I think obviously Josh Allen and Cook are playing well, but Tampa Bay is coming in and they're looking to get right. So
what's wrong with your Bills? Break it down for us. They look.
I think Ed Oliver being out, for a while. He'll be back, I think, later in the season. I think defensively they just kind of been bend but don't break and play good in the red zone. And then offensively, they look horrible against the Dolphins. So I think they just haven't been consistent. I think they started off really well.
So I think Tua gave you a couple picks in that one too for a couple extra tries.
Right. And then we fumbled we did a tush push and got a 17-yard run by Josh Allen and we fumbled.
That's right.
And so just the little things, but they'll get it going. And then obviously New England being able to continue to stretch their lead in the AFC East has probably got Buffalo reeling a little bit. The other big game, your Bears at the Vikings. Hey, listen, I think I always said that Chicago has good enough talent. I like the coach. I'm starting to like Caleb Williams. I don't like what the Vikings are doing. I'm not sold on McCarthy. I'm probably more sold on Williams, even though I think Williams needs to mature and continue to grow and really, dive into being the quarterback in a system like that. But I think he's showing growth, and that's what you want from him. And I think Chicago's defense is young but talented. I think they can give Minnesota some problems.
You got Johnson coming back today as well, which would be huge for him. But yeah, the Williams has been a roller coaster. Like, listen to the Cowherds go from this guy's a bum to this guy's the next guy to back to this guy. The fourth quarter, he's always consistent, which is the one good thing. Like, you need him in a key drive. He's been really good there. It's just, can you keep it consistent? But that's why I love Ben Johnson. Yeah. And I'm confident. It's like that. He's figured out. Can't remember who he came off of that bye week, but ever since that bye week, whether it's been Swift or Monungai, they have a run game they can lean on. And when you got a guy like Tooney out there, future Hall of Famer, I think that does a lot. More than I even realized. Like, even if it's not just his play, I think having that leadership and having a future Hall of Famer
in a championship mentality.
Making strides there. So we'll see what happens. But the Vikings
are real.
They're real for sure,
and they're right for the picking for your Bears. So we'll see what happens. The other big game later on today, 3:25, Kansas City at Denver. Kansas City is rolling. Kansas City's favored, which obviously, probably Sean Payton doesn't like. They are leading the AFC West, but Denver's offense, that defense is easily the best in the league.
I thought Denver's leading in that division.
Yeah, Denver's leading.
Oh, I think so the Chiefs were. Okay.
No, the Chiefs are going in. I said Sean Payton won like it. Denver's leading in the AFC West. Denver's defense is the best in the nation. But that offense and your boy Bo Nix, you talking about Caleb Williams being a roller coaster. Homeboy is worse. You got to think, he looked like the best rookie quarterback last year. Now in year 2, he looks like the worst. But they're coming off a bye week, and hopefully they got it together. If not, they're going to get blown out at home.
Well, what was that one game where they scored like 28 points in the fourth quarter? It was this season.
It was the Giants. You got your boy fired.
Yeah,
Brian Davis.
It's been. I don't know what that team is other than an elite defense.
That's it. In the Bo Nix project.
And the Bo Nix,
I mean, his fundamentals and everything looks bad. Real quick, Detroit, the Fighting Nick Sanders at Philadelphia. Philly has like internal problems with not getting A.J. Brown the ball. I think this is a game Detroit goes in and wins. I think they're physical. I think this is a game that Dan Campbell likes. I know Dan. He hyped about this right now. And I think Philly, even though they have Saquon and Jalen Hurts, I don't think there's something on. I think last year it was kind of all swept under the rug when you win the Super Bowl. But I think it just kind of just manifested even stronger this year. They don't know.
No Laporta. Were you at all in this one?
No, because they can use Gibbs and then bring Montgomery to be the true back. I think they'll find a way to scheme up to get to the middle of the field. Now, we'll see if Dan Campbell calls the plays now, right? Because Morton kind of got the stiff arm. So we'll see. And we don't even never talk about Dallas and Vegas. Those are two teams I hate the most. So anyway,
well, the Raiders don't want us to talk about it either. They want us to just wrap up here.
Appreciate you listening. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. We'll holler at you next week.